That's not good. That's worse than me.
It's awkward.
We're waiting on 7 o'clock or 7:30.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the January 16, 2023 Crest City Council meeting to order. If everyone would please rise for the pledge of allegiance to the flag and please remain standing after the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today we celebrate the legacy of Martin Luther King, great man who accomplished many good things for the civil rights movement in his day. So as a city of Crest Hill, we certainly would like to extend our condolences to the family of Martin Luther King for his sacrifice, for his accomplishments, for everything good that he did to make this country a better country than what we were. So I would ask for a moment of silence and a moment of silent prayer in the honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you. Roll call, please, Laurie.
Ray Solomon,
Here.
Christine Verche Hall, Glenn Conklin,
Present.
Scott Dyke,
Here.
John Verche,
Here.
Darrell Jefferson,
Here.
Claudia Gazelle,
Here.
Tina Oberlin,
Present.
Mark Sepiti,
Here.
Nate Albert,
Here.
Joe Kubel.
Okay, we do not have a business promotion this evening, so we'll go ahead with the agenda. First is the approval of the minutes from the city council meeting held on January 3rd, 2023. Motion would be in order.
So, second.
Motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of the minutes of the January 3rd, 2023 city council meeting. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubel,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazelle.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I also ask for the approval of the minutes of the work session held on January 9th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Jefferson, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal for the approval of the work session minutes of January 9th, 2023. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubel,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazelle.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving along with our agenda items, our city attorney, Mike Stiff. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I do not have any agenda items this evening. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer.
Any questions of city attorney?
Yes, I have a couple. 1724 Broadway, where are we at on that house?
We had our inspectors go to look at the premises. They have photographed the outside, and they are trying to determine whether we can get a police officer to get them on the inside, because it looks like the back door has been unsecured, and if we can get somebody inside to take photographs along with the accompanying officer, that gives us the ability to do that. It appears that there's some probable cause to enter the premises. If it is still boarded up and not accessible, then we have to go the court route to get an administrative search warrant. So we're hoping we don't have to do that.
All right, just that it's been a long time waiting for this, to proceed on. Also, I believe Jim got a hold of you about another property that, with 2 units on it, and I guess you're gonna look into what options we might have going forward? Because I'm sure this could affect a lot of other,
Yes.
properties with 2 units.
Yes, we had a meeting, Jim Marino, Zoe Rogers and I believe there were two of these 2-unit on one property kind of deals. One is an apartment over a garage, and one might be also the same, so.
Well, there's more than that, but right now, these are,
But yeah, we're exploring the options.
Yeah,
I think
we-
Jim's gonna have, some decision on how we're gonna move forward following that meeting.
could we have a work session on this for all council to be involved and know what's going on?
If you want.
This way they can see what's also, I don't know if they have any situations like that in their wards, but, Ward 1, I know we got more than a couple, so just want to make sure.
And there were a couple that were discussed. You have the address of the one that you have in mind, so I make sure it's.
Well, I believe it's the one that, with Kelly in Oakland right now. And then there was one before that, we were told the gentleman he couldn't use the rear unit anymore, and it's
My
not being
understanding,
used, it's not.
He's got an outstanding permit to pull the
Right.
plumbing out of that, so
Right,
if he
so-
does that work, then I think we'll be okay. Remember, you can still use the secondary unit for anything other than a dwelling, so, you can use it for storage, you can use it for a workshop, a den, a man cave, any other type of use that's just not a dwelling. But again, if he pulls the plumbing out of that unit, as I think his permit allows him to do, or what he plans to do, I don't think that it would be habitable, so that the city would basically just be up, monitoring that to make sure it's not being used as a residence.
Are we gonna be able to get our plumbing inspector to make sure it's all been
That's
written?
that's what the permit's for, so
Okay,
we'll have
just
that
wanna make sure.
inspected once the work is done, but he's been dragging his feet on getting the work done, and I think Zoe said his permit still has about 4 months left on it
Right.
before it becomes stale, in which case he'd have to reapply for a new permit.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Moving on to our city administrator, Jim Marino. Good evening, Jim.
Well, before we get to that, are we having a work session on this topic?
Well, I would think that when we get all the information to be able to provide it to the city council, then we can set it on a work session. And I don't know how long that's gonna take.
Right, exactly, that's why I didn't say for the next work session, for a future work session, once we have all the information.
Okay, and what properties are we talking about?
The one on Oakland, the Kelly one, and I believe there was one on Highland also that, was just, they haven't been using it, but, to make sure in the future. And then at center, if he, gets that done. And if any others pop up, I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. Give me one moment, I gotta log in. Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. We have several change orders for the city center and one invoice for you to consider. The change orders that are on the agenda tonight were discussed at the previous work session, so these all need to be approved for tonight. I'll go through these. The first one is a motion to approve a change order with Corsetti Constructional Steel in the amount of $11,205.
I have a question about that one. I got a call from a resident, was asking, was the structural steel signed off by an engineer off the blueprints?
Sorry.
Was,
Sean, to the podium, Sean, please.
did we get a sign off on the blueprints on the structural steel?
My understanding is yes. I haven't seen the official stamp set, but
Can we get that shown to us at some point?
sure.
I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Motion would be in order.
So moved.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. How about a second? Joe? We have a motion.
Oh,
How about a
yeah,
second?
okay, I'll make a second.
We have a motion by Alderman Jefferson, seconded by Alderman Kubal, for the approval of the change order with Corsetti Structural Steel for $11,205. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes, although I still want those documents.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next one is a motion for a change order with Tech Life in the amount of $1,920.
Motion will be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman Albert for the approval of a change order with Tech Life for $1,920. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries.
A motion for a change order with Applied Communications Group in the amount of $1,704.94.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal for the approval of a change order with Applied Communications Group for $1,704.94. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion for a change order with Cosgrove Construction, Inc. in the amount of $19,896.
What was this one for, Dan?
This is the Costco.
Motion will be in order.
I'll make a motion.
I'll make that motion.
How about a second? Second, Joe?
Second.
Second. Motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Kubal for a change order with Cosgrove Construction for $19,896. Questions or comments?
Yeah, at the work session, I had mentioned that I wasn't happy about the amount we were charged to remove garbage from what other workers had done by the one company, and asked the question about why they didn't clean up after themselves and be charged $1,000 for that. I would like to see this omitted from this bill. That should have been done by those workers, not have to be charged by someone else to pick it up and clean it up.
Any comments to that, Sean?
As I mentioned last time, everybody does a pretty good job keeping their stuff clean. There's always extra general cleaning that comes up. I understand where Scott's coming from.
I would ask to the motioner and to the second for that addendum, or not. Hearing nothing, the motion stands as read for the $19,896. Roll call, please.
Scott Dyke.
No.
John Verche.
No.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next item is a change order, a motion for a change order with Tim Electric in the amount of $565.
A motion.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Jefferson, seconded by Alderman Albert for the approval of a change order with Tim Electric for $565. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And a motion for a change order with Tim Electrical for $8,355.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Kubal for the approval of a change order with Tim Electric for $8,355. Questions or comments?
Yeah, looking in here, it says provide one 4-wire 30-amp cord and for coffee maker and trim out the receptacle. Well, $800 for that's a little ridiculous. one outlet, 30 amps.
It's its own circuit, it's coming from the panel. Panel's
For
40.
$800?
I only pass it along. I can request a full labor and material breakout for you if you'd like.
Why
Is it-
wasn't that thought of to begin with, wherever this location
The
is?
original, the coffee maker was donated later on in the game. That wasn't ever figured for that location. We actually extended the counters to accept the coffee maker. It's a pretty nice coffee maker. I don't know how expensive it is, but it's very nice.
It
And
needs its
so we had
own,
to extend water and we had to add the electrical for it.
it needs its own circuit?
Yeah, when you're getting that kind of service, just like your stove.
Pretty large.
Yeah.
It's not
Most of
a-
your appliances
it's not
that
a
are of
Mr.
that
Coffee.
nature have their own circuit, like your stove has its own circuit, that has its own circuit. So,
So it's a retrofit
yes.
after the fact?
Well, yes.
That's probably part of the reason why it's so costly.
Well, yeah, it's not exactly easy to. you know,
It wasn't in the original plan.
No, it was an item that was donated later to the police department.
Ed,
I
I'm trying to
understand the
remember
unit
who was, but not the.
I
Was it
don't know
donated by?
I don't know who donated it.
I believe CPC Power Authority donated it to us.
Is there an enclosed wire, or is that just gonna be like a drop cord?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Is there gonna be an enclosed wire, is that gonna be
No,
like a drop
everything's in the
cord?
wall, nice and closed, nice outlet on the wall.
Receptacle and everything?
Say again?
Receptacle?
Receptacle and everything. Yep. Your lock receptacle because of the voltage amperage. Everything's good to go. I have pictures of it, completed.
I never heard of a coffee maker needing its own separate line. I mean, a refrigerator, yeah.
It's quite large.
You know, furnace, yeah.
Those are very big machines that, just like a microwave requires
I mean,
its own.
the thing for the coffee itself is that big. And there's two of them on there.
It's like a big
It's huge. It's a
It's
commercial.
almost like a
It's-
commercial one.
It makes like
It is
two
a big-
5-gallon tubs of coffee. It's,
It could be used for training too.
yeah. The nice thing is they're detachable and you can take them to your conference rooms and literally pour your coffee out there too. So it's a nice machine. The machine's probably in the tens of thousands, I would imagine. So it's a nice machine that got donated. I can send some pictures and stuff of the actual machine.
Okay. All these items were discussed at the work session last Monday night. We do have a motion and a second, so I'll ask for a roll call.
Scott Dyke,
Yeah.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Pass.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The last item is a invoice with Christopher Burke Engineering in the amount of $6,754.11.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of the invoice with Christopher Burke Engineering for the amount of $6,754.11. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche. John?
He said yes.
Okay, sorry. Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, there's one item we need to discuss regarding the enlarged customer service window in the front lobby by the clerk's office and the water billing office. So, as you know, this it's a window, customer service window that has ballistic glass on it. And we decided to enlarge that window and to be able to put a ADA accessible counter there. And in doing that, we had to take out the ballistic shield, as you know, and it's a larger opening, so we need to order a larger ballistic window. The problem we're having is the vendor that we're currently using isn't able to give us a hard date on when that window is going to be delivered. And Sean has another vendor that we think can deliver it in a more timely manner, but it's going to cost more money. So we want to have a conversation with you as to whether or not you want to proceed with getting the ballistic window from another vendor or continuing with the current vendor.
Well,
much
I
is
would
one
like
more?
to, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I would like to comment on the, we decided to make the window larger because it wasn't, we decided, it was done incorrectly and it wasn't an ADA, which is, has to have ADA and it didn't. So it wasn't like we just on a whim decided. We did, it was not done correctly and it had to be made ADA. Am I correct in this statement?
Yes, that is.
Okay, so it
that-
wasn't
that
like we
is
just
correct.
went on a whim and said, let's make this window bigger.
Right.
The person in charge of doing it did not do it correctly.
Correct.
Okay, I just
And-
want that clarified.
Yeah, and but to add to that, that was what started it, and then from that, we did make it also bigger to accommodate additional teller. So, but the initial reason was because of the ADA
Correct.
requirement, correct?
The question that I have is, you bringing this, but you're not saying estimated time. So if we're gonna go for something more expensive, what is the estimated time that we gonna get this window, and is it guaranteed that we're gonna get it?
Well, guarantees is only as good as his word, right? So I mean, but I've been told that we can have it in 10 to 12 weeks.
Well, if we don't have that in writing, that will say,
I
we'll
will,
just wait for the other
before I
one.
make any decisions as far as that goes, I'll make sure it's in writing. I don't want to go down the
Yeah.
wrong route. And the only reason I'm bringing this is it makes me nervous that I don't have a date from the other vendor.
And how much
So-
difference we're looking?
Pardon?
How much the difference? in the
Like
two
6 to
windows?
8 grand.
Oh my gosh.
It's extensive. So I don't mind waiting. We can stick with what we've got. That's not an issue. I'm just looking at time-wise, and getting.
But do we have an
keeping it.
answer why? I mean, if they told us from the
They're
beginning
waiting on their
something
vendor to
and,
get the
Let me
contractors
finish.
wait on the supplier to get it made and brought to them. And the problem is with some of these guys nowadays, anybody sticking to their dates is kind of crazy. I'm still waiting on cameras. They're over a year late.
Well, if that's the case though, and not on you, but if that's the case, then why would we presume that the new vendor would actually deliver in the time
I
frame?
agree. I mean, I think even making the change could be a risk.
Well, I'm just, for
I'm
this
just
kind of money, I
bringing
don't
it.
think it's worth the gamble. If the
And
first
that's-
gentleman can't get it, why would we think that the second company would get
That's
it?
totally fine. I was just trying to.
No, I understand what you're
accommodate
trying to do,
schedule.
but, you
Yeah.
know, right now, we're just burning good money.
I completely understand.
the thing is that we don't have a definite date. If you give me a
Correct.
definite date and it's approval and they can be
If
held
I can get
accountable
it-
for
if I can get a
it, I will
guaranteed
say-
date
Okay, you don't want me
from
to talk
them,
tonight, this is obvious.
Does that,
Every time I'm talking, you interrupt me.
if I can
But
get
go
the other
ahead.
vendor to give me a guaranteed date, does that
This is crazy.
sway any?
I should stand up so people can
Opinions?
see me.
What's your recommendation, Sean?
I'm saying if I can get in writing a guaranteed date from the other vendor, does that,
So he gives it to us in writing
Twice.
and he doesn't meet it, what happens?
we could put
She doesn't get-
liquidated damages in there.
But I get interrupted.
Like if he's late by so many days or whatever, each day or whatever comes with a penalty to cost. It's the only thing I can suggest. And again, this isn't something we have to do. I'm trying to look at schedule and everything else and, you know, I mean, I hate to say time or money, but I don't mind waiting. I'm just trying to be proactive.
And the current vendor just keeps telling you. I
He
can't
doesn't
give
have
you
a
the
date, yeah.
So he's not.
I keep
going out
asking.
on a limb to give-
No,
give
not
you a
yet,
date.
no. And I think he's afraid to because he doesn't want to give me a date and then not come through. Because he's already pushed out the date a couple times now. He says, I don't know, until they give me concrete, confirmation that this is definitely gonna happen, he doesn't wanna, he doesn't wanna give me a date now.
Has the other
And it could be, I mean, it's possible the window we have can come in 8 weeks, I don't know. But that's the problem for me is I don't know.
And we've been waiting how long right now on this current vendor for this?
I believe we released this in November. If my memory serves me.
Mr. Marino, can I continue asking a question? Because I keep getting interrupted. So
Oh, sorry.
if we're gonna stay with this contract, can we contact the vendor himself so they can contact the people that, the other vendor they're getting, they should give them an estimated time? I mean, vendors, they have to know, if they're supplying something, they should say a window between 8 and 10 weeks, approximately 12 weeks, or something like that. I can't make a decision just like that. I mean, we're talking about 7 grand, 8 grand, that's a lot of money, and we still don't know either way. I mean, a vendor should be able to tell you estimated time.
Agreed.
I mean, who's the supplier they're getting it for? We're paying all that money, we should have something in writing, say 4 to 6 weeks, or 8 to 10 weeks, maybe this, I get it, but they should give you an estimate window. They might say a year, so we're gonna wait a year, so we'll have City Hall waiting. I mean, if we don't move another year, City Hall is gonna go down, because you need to continue on, you know, running heating, running everything. I mean, it's like, what is the point? We're spending money here, we're spending money there.
Well,
We need to bring these answers, you know, before we bring them here to the council, so we can have a definite response, or semi-responsible response at this point.
well, unfortunately, we're not always able to get a definite date or window from
But if Denver
suppliers.
is buying it from another vendor, they should know and estimate who they're getting it from.
Well, there's many times where they tell us when they're gonna have it, either the vendor or the suppliers, and then they say, we're not gonna have it by this date, it's delayed, and it keeps getting pushed back. And then it gets to the point where they say, well, I can't tell you when I'm gonna get it. And this is the issue we're finding, that, yeah, we certainly wanna have a hard date, but there's been many times where they've given us a date or a window and they missed it. And then they give us another date and
I
window, and then
understand.
they miss that. And it gets to the point with some of these suppliers, will say, well, I can't tell you, I don't know when I'm gonna get it to you.
But they're talking 5 months, they're talking 6 months. I mean, they should at least give you a few months. I'm not asking weeks. They should at least tell you,
Well, Sean's asking for that, and they're not giving, not all of them are giving him a hard date or a window. Is that right? They're just saying, they don't know.
And I could push them harder. I know the supplier too. I mean, I can reach out to them as well and see if they can, I don't usually like to go around the
well, we're gonna
contractor,
have to
but I
at this
mean,
point.
you know, I can see if they'll give me an estimated time, but a lot of these guys aren't committing to things.
Is the supplier simply supplying it to the vendor as is and then we get it, or is there some manufacturing that is?
Well, it is a custom unit, so there is some manufacturing to it. So you've got your contractor and then your supplier or vendor that's going to actually manufacture the ballistics and manufacture the framing, get that over to the contractor. The contractor is going to come out and actually install it in the opening and get it all put in. I mean, not much different than like mechanical unit, like a rooftop unit. You know, you've got like a carrier putting the unit together. It gets to the mechanical contractor. They put it in.
Are there more than one manufacturers of this type of glass?
Well, there is, and I've reached out to them, and that's what I was looking at here. Because that's the other thing too. Certain contractors, they have like relationships with certain vendors. So if I want to get a better time, I have to go to a different contractor that supplies a different vendor. So like in this guards, there's Armortex, there's Insulgard, there's I think it's U.S. Ballistics, just to name a few. So you got to find different vendors or contractors that work with those vendors. So that's what I was doing, to try to say, okay, let's look at a couple of the other suppliers to see if I can't get a better time.
When you get this window, the hole is already there?
Holes are it's ready for the window for the most
Okay.
part. I mean, I do have to get the cabinets and the counter in first, but
Yeah.
the window opening's already there. Everything's ready to go. I'm literally waiting on counters, cabinets, countertops, and then the window unit will go in, because it actually sits on the countertop. So I'm just trying to be, conscious of time.
The alternate vendor, did they give you a window?
Yes, 10 to 12 weeks.
10 to 12 weeks.
But it's not guaranteed.
And I can see about getting a guarantee and possibly doing like a liquidated damages if they go past that 12-week mark.
And the current vendor isn't able to give you a date or a window?
No.
Do we have the council's concurrence for Sean to reach out to the other supplier and vendor and see if we can get
A date?
something in writing?
Sure.
And again, hold it to them, and if they don't follow through, then there could be some liquidated damages that we would receive back.
Wait, which vendor are we? I'm sorry, I'm a little confused.
The new vendor,
The
get
new
it in
vendor.
Yes,
writing.
I can get that.
If he doesn't meet the deadline,
I'm also gonna try to reach out to the other, reach out to the actual supplier for the current vendor and see if maybe they can give me some sort of information as to why we're not getting a date.
So,
I don't know if it's a supply chain issue. I don't know. I mean, I know all the ballistics are custom made, so I don't know if it's a supply chain issue. I don't know.
well, unfortunately, I think it's just the way of the world right now.
It's
Right.
weird. There's no consistency. Some items are kind of back to normal and they're kind of on normal trends for deliveries and how soon they can turn things around, and other things are still kind of in limbo. So,
Okay, so there'll be no formal action here, but I'm asking for council's concurrence for Sean to reach out to see if he can get a guaranteed contract with dates, specific dates.
Yep.
And if that could be done, and then have a clause in there for the liquidated damages if they do not honor that. Would it be all right for Sean to proceed? Does anybody have any objections?
Not with that
Also get
part.
the price too.
Pardon me?
Get the price also.
Well, he said between 6 and 8, right?
6 and 8.
yeah.
So if anybody has a problem with that, please speak up now.
So Sean's gonna reach out and then bring it back to the
Correct.
council
Correct.
Yes.
for a vote or
Yes.
some sort of approval, yea or nay.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, looks like you're okay.
Okay. And then, just to be clear, I'm gonna also reach out, try to bring back
Yeah.
both pieces of information, correct?
Correct.
Just making sure.
Okay.
Anything else for me? Anything else for me?
No.
Oh, I had one other question. Was all the concrete tested on site in the different areas?
I don't know.
Because we should have a,
I mean, there's a lot of test reports. I can't tell you if all of it was tested. So, but all the test reports from all the previous concrete work, I believe was, I believe it was Seco was the company that did all the third-party testing. Do I got it right? All right, thanks. And all those reports, I believe, you already have and should be available.
who has?
Crest, someone from Crest Hill should have.
Can we find out someone from Crest Hill if we have
Yeah.
those?
I can reach out to Seco too and get an extra copy. That's not a problem. We have a
Yes,
long
if
working
you- I would like
relationship with
those
them.
as well, yes, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sean.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks, Sean.
I have a question, Mr. Marino. Last work session, I questioned the signage of the dice. And you said that we have a budget for it, so I reached out to Lisa, because I would like to see that line item, and supposedly she reached out to you. I haven't heard anything. And I noticed this weekend that we have a sign already on the city building. So it was never discussed here, what kind of shape, what kind of, design is gonna be, and do we have an estimated?
The sign, well, so we're talking about the council room and then the wall behind the dais, the sign that's gonna be placed up there. So we're gonna get that price and that design brought to you. That's gonna come from Warehouse Direct. Warehouse Direct is working on all the interior signage. So as part of the interior signage, which is gonna be the signs for the offices, the conference rooms, the restrooms and all those signs that we're required to have, as part of that proposal, they're gonna give us a proposal for, the different types of signs we can have on the wall behind the dais.
But you stated at the work session that there's, all these items were budgeted, and I reach out to see what is the budget item, how much we budgeted for this, and I haven't gotten an answer.
Well, we budgeted for interior and exterior signage.
How much do we budget? That's the question that I reached out by email today, and I haven't gotten an answer.
I'll have to look it up and get back to you.
Okay.
I don't have it on the top of my
All
head.
right, if I get my answer, I will not ask tonight, but, and do we know that big sign, how much it cost in the front? Because that did not came from the council, did they? The exterior sign on the building?
What was the price of that, Mark?
$8,950.
And who made the decision on
Installed.
that design or style, or?
Well, it's the city logo, so
I understand. the
we
city
just
logo.
we didn't decide on a design because the design was already there for the city logo, and We just had the city logo placed on.
I
on
understand
the
you can
wall.
have a logo, but you can have a different type of shapes of a logo.
Mhm.
No.
I mean, we discussed the signage of the dais, what it would look like, what font, what color, size, et cetera, so. Just would have thought there'd be the same kind of discussion about the exterior sign, I guess.
Has everybody seen the outside sign that went up
I
on
did.
Friday?
I saw it.
No?
I haven't been by there
Well, I,
since last week.
I think it's
on
a
Wednesday.
very attractive sign that is there. I think it's very impressive, looks very professional, and it matches all the other signage that we have throughout the city now with the new logo.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just asking, we making decisions without communication. And I have the right to ask what we budgeted. What's the total budget for signage? And nobody's able to give me this answer.
Well, I'll get you the answer tomorrow. I don't have the answer off the top of
Okay.
my head.
And- Well, who decided to go ahead with this other sign without anybody here knowing about it?
I did. Because it was within the budget for the signage.
The other question, that this is not my question, but residents have reached out. I don't know if anyone else, reached out. Now that the agenda is publicly and it's on, and I'm not picking on you, Sean, I'm just doing my job because I'm the voice of the people. So when it came to the cabinets, I don't know why I didn't think about that in the meeting, or none of us thought about it. Since the color was printed by Harbor, why Harbor is not taking that color? That's the question. So I'm just putting it out there because, again, people are not here and I'm their voice. So I could not answer that question. Did anyone else get that question?
Not that one.
I'm not sure I understand your question, Claudia.
So basically, since the color was part of a printing, not an actual color sample, they're saying why the city has to pay for it, which I understand we didn't vote for it. But again, we could change the color. If Harvard made the mistake, why Harvard's not covering this cost or the mistake?
Sean?
Well, I mean, it's a fair question. If that's what you'd like me to do, I'll do it.
I mean, and I will show you screenshots so you see that there were questions to me. It's not something I'm making up.
No,
But it's a valid question, and I didn't think about it back in the Monday meeting. But I think it was a valid question, but that's up to you. I mean, it's,
Well,
I'm
if
just doing my
that's
job.
what the board would like me to do, I'll do it. But I also thought at the last meeting, we decided not to do it. I think it would be the right thing to do. If doing the right thing means that, I absolve the cost for that, I'll do it.
These were the cabinets that are
they're
not,
pink.
not.
Not the right color.
Not visible to the public, and they're,
Correct. I still think they should be the right color. Just an opinion. And if-
I thought the discussion was to just leave it as is, and I would be okay with that, regardless of who's paying.
Well, I mean, listen, if it's all right with you guys, I'll take over the cost. I'll get it right.
Well, why don't you check with your superiors on that question and then get back to Jim about that one?
Will do.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Jim. Moving on, Public Works Department. Our Director of Public Works, Mark Seifer. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have one agenda item in front of you this evening. We would like to designate the below equipment as surplus and list it for auction on govdeals.com. The below equipment is no longer used and is unuseful to us. It was from City Hall and other places around the city. The 33 desktop computers, 24 laptops, 14 keyboards, 10 computer mice, 6 monitors, and 3 iPads. All of these items have been wiped clean by AIS, so there is no sensitive information on them. They have been wiped clean.
Motion would be in order.
Is there,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
that's quite all right. Is there, I guess the question I need to ask is, why do we not need all of this now?
So right when COVID started, City Council made the decision to buy all staff laptops for the portability of working from home, working in the office. So there are no longer any full-size desktops around the city. And we are keeping 5 to 7 of them just for in emergency type items. But there's no need, and then some of these 24 laptops are ones that have been on if you remember, we had the replacement program. These have been recycled out already. So
Okay.
this is the first time in in my 5 to 7 years that we've actually brought computer items to surplus. So some of these computers are ancient, would be a great word for them.
I just want, I mean, when you just hear this,
No, I understand.
without any background, Mark,
I understand.
you know what people are gonna think.
100%
You
understand.
just voted to spend all this money on technology, and now this is, so that's why I want you to explain it.
No, yeah, no, 100%.
I think that people will wanna know why, this is all going, when we just bought all this.
Yep,
So
not a problem. And then,
I appreciate your explanation.
no problem. And like I said, we have, it's been nice with the city council doing a replacement program. So laptops were getting recycled out every 3 years. And like I said, when COVID happened, we all got laptops so we could work from home, work remote, and those types of things. So desktop computers are unfortunately a thing of the past, as it seems in the office space.
Mark, are you considering donating them to the schools? Is it such a thing that we can do?
That would be up to city council. Our first response has always been gov deals, just to try to make some sort of income back to the city on this. But if that would be council's wish to pull some of these out or donate some, I don't know if the schools are looking for them still. I remember
Okay.
back in the day they were, but I could, it's up to you guys really.
No, I'm just wondering.
I know we're gonna have some more, so maybe I could, between this batch and the next batch, I could reach out to the local schools and see if they have anything.
In the end, it's all taxpayer money, both ways, so.
Yeah.
Will we
Thank
be,
you.
you're done? Will we be let known of how much, we
Yeah.
got for the,
I have a work session that's gonna be devoted mostly to public works and water wastewater on the 30th. I have a memo prepared already for a year-to-date of what we've had. So we've been doing this for approximately a year now, so I can share that with you at that point. We've been surplusing since January of last year, so I thought it'd be nice to show a 1-year update.
now the money received, does that go back in our technology part of the budget then?
That goes in our, so when we get vehicles, when we sell a vehicle, that goes in vehicle replacement. Technology goes in technology
I
replacement.
just wanted to make sure.
It goes back in the, especially with the vehicles, we're getting some good money, it's going in that portion, because theoretically with the replacement program, the whole point was to
Offset the price.
get rid of stuff when it still has useful life and sell it, especially with the vehicles right now, so.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin for the approval of authorization for disposal of surplus personal property owned by the city of Crest Hill. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Ordinance number 1939.
And that's all I have for you this evening. I'd be happy to entertain any questions that you may have.
Any questions of Public Works?
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you all.
Okay, moving on, City Engineer, our engineer Ron Wiedemann. Good evening, Ron.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one item. I'm looking for the approval of an ordinance amending Title 15, Building and Construction, Chapter 15.12 Sign Code of the City of Crest Hill Code of Ordinance to add sections 15.12085 exemption, 15.12275 variations, and 15.12276 variation procedure. This was presented at the last workshop. If there's any other questions?
So
Motion.
moved, as presented.
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Jefferson. Questions or comments on the motion? Roll call.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche, Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Ordinance number 1940.
And that is all I have, unless there's any questions.
Any questions of city engineer? All right, thanks, Ron. Community development, we have no report. Police department, our police chief, Ed Clark. Good evening, Ed.
Evening, Mayor and Council. This evening I have two items before you. One is what we discussed at last week's work session. It's the placement of stop signs on the Menard Access Road at Len Kabinski Drive. We had discussion, and the decision of the council at the work session was to, at the time, remove those signs on Len Kabinski and move those to the Menard Access Road. So I'll be looking this evening for your approval on that.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Sapiti, seconded by Alderman Albert for the placement, the new placement of stop signs on the Menard Access Road at Len Kabinski Drive. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The second item I have on the agenda is the placement of no parking sign on the north side of 2300 Ardell. It would be in front of the area of 2352 Ardell, at Ardell and Gaylord. Attached to the memo is also the ordinance drafted by Attorney Mike Still. This was brought to me by Alderman Sapiti, and I'd be looking for your approval this evening.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Alderman Sapiti, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin for the placement of the no parking signs on the north side of 2300 Ardell, which, as discussed at the work session last Monday night. Questions or comments? Roll call.
This was for replacement of a stop sign, correct?
No, no parking.
Oh, the no parking. I'm sorry, I apologize. Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche, Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Ordinance number 1941, motion carries.
Thank you. I don't have anything else this evening. You have received your two-week informational packet, and I'll entertain any questions.
Yes, as you know, Chief, you and I, we've been discussing a lot the alarm fee, and I have shared many complaints and screenshot of conversations and complaints from residents. And I know, Mayor, that you stated in the last work session that we should ask for something to be put on the agenda in the work session. Unfortunately, the chief wasn't here and the residents are not here for work session, and there's no TV for work session. So would like to request that we'll be putting ordinance 1912, the alarm fee, on the agenda for discussion to reconsider the fees for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. You want to say something on that?
Yeah, I definitely, if that's what council wishes, there has been some concern over that fee and the increase, and we can definitely at your leisure discussion at the next meeting, absolutely.
I mean, when we do increase, and I think I stated my that one meeting as well. When we do an increase, we don't go from $10 to $100. I think it should have been something in the middle or a little bit lower or way lower. I don't know if you guys are getting, but I have a lot of complaints. Residents are not happy at all. And I would like to see this on the agenda. Any comments?
Yes,
Any-
I've gotten several calls as well, Claudia.
Thank you. Anyone has a problem putting this on the agenda?
No.
No.
You're saying the agenda for the next work session or
Well-
city council meeting?
And you would say this would be for,
Well, we have to
Next
discuss it,
budget.
yes, and probably some resident would like to be here as well. I'm just letting you know, because they want to be here, they're not happy about all these increases. And I understand it's inflation, I understand we have to increase things, I understand it hasn't been increased for a while, but going from $10 to $100, that's like a lot of money. So,
Well, we're talking about next budget, correct?
right, but it's something that we can
Right.
start
Well,
discussing,
We'll be
and,
starting budget talks here soon. Maybe that would be the time to discuss it at that work session.
The budget discusses the income projection.
correct.
What you're speaking of here is not really a
It's a fee.
budget discussion. It's not a discussion of income,
What we're discussing here is ordinance 1912.
which is a policy thing, not necessarily a budgetary thing, so.
Now, this went into effect this year, is that correct? It was a
Correct.
new fee
It's changed.
structure, so there's nothing that would prevent it. There's no time frame that it could be changed
It's an
within
ordinance.
that year. It doesn't have to wait like till the next budget discussion.
No.
It's your will.
it
I
could be
mean,
a
it
separate
would
issue.
affect
It
income,
could be separate.
however we,
It's
I've
not gonna
had,
affect that much, because how many alarms do we have in the city? And I would like that also on the agenda, how many total alarms we have throughout the city, like resident that they are registered, I would like that amount as well.
and perhaps how many, what we've drawn in
Correct.
fees from that.
Yeah, I'd be in favor of discussing it again.
Yeah.
Also, I've had residents contact me with concern over just the amount that it was raised. And just to be aware and be sensitive to the economic issues that we're facing right now. If we could just take a look at that again and discuss it, that would be great.
I think may affect, may have somebody reach out to you as well about that.
I had a couple, I
She
told them we
me.
would talk about it to start next year, if council was so seen fit. But if you would like to do it right now, so be it. Would you like it on the agenda for a work session or for a
Well, yeah,
city
it's,
council
it's
meeting?
it's an ordinance, we have to discuss how much it's gonna be. You can't put it just on a city council meeting to vote for it when you're not talking about it, and you're gonna get the votes for it.
How about next week's work session?
Well, it depends what we have on the agenda, I have no problem, but, I mean, city manager, do you have any opinion, or what is your agenda looks like for the next couple meetings?
The next meeting is pretty long. The work session on the 30th
Okay.
will be devoted primarily to Mark's items on the water system.
Would you let us discuss this on your agenda on the 30th?
Yeah, I think I'm at about 9 agenda items right now, so it's your call. I have no problem devoting.
Yeah, the
time.
next two agendas are pretty
Should
filled.
not
We can
take
still
more
put it
than-
on one of them if you like.
20 minutes,
If you
well,
want, if you want on the 30th, I have 100% no problem with that.
Okay,
Can you refresh my recollection, ordinance 1912, was that a global ordinance that increased all the fees, or was that one just
That's
particular
particular
to
for that.
false alarms?
Just for the false alarms.
I have a question, thinking about it. We changed it. We already made that new rate known to the residents. Some may have already paid it. If it changes downward, how will those residents, will they get some kind of reimbursement?
He said it would be for next year.
Well, I think it's an
Oh.
annual fee,
Right.
so.
So the change wouldn't happen until next year.
But you can make the change effective immediately, but then you've got to deal with prorations and that kind of stuff. But,
Right.
I mean, I think the suggestion is to discuss it
2023, 24.
for
Okay.
next
Correct.
Just wanted to clarify.
next year's or the
Okay.
next cycle.
That's why I stated
No.
that from the beginning.
So if the ordinance is amended, you can make it effective, whatever the date. I guess, I think this goes calendar year, right? So it'd just be effective January 1, 2024.
Okay. Mayor's report, I have nothing. If there's any questions? City clerk's report, we have Lori Thrasher with us this evening. Good evening, Lori.
Good evening. I have no agenda items for discussion.
Any questions of the clerk's office? City treasurer's report.
Can I interrupt one thing? I got with you. Lori's gonna be here, but this is gonna be her last council meeting that she's ever gonna be to, because the time we have the next one, she will be retired. So Lori, hope you have a happy retirement. I'm giving you ahead of time. And when you go for a walk from now on in the summer, when you have more time, would you walk on the street and don't walk on my sidewalk and wear it out?
No, I'm sorry. I just went and bought some sidewalk chalk specifically for your yard. Thank you, John.
But, and I remember voting yes for you when you were gonna be hired. I thought I made a mistake, but I think I did a fairly good job.
Are you that
And you
old?
did a good job too.
Thank you so much.
And I was there in the office sometimes when you come there with some hostile people and you didn't lose your temper, you grind your teeth, but you got them out and they were all happy, I guess. So that makes a big difference also with the people.
Thank you.
So you did a very good job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay, to our city treasurer, Glenn Conklin. Good evening, Glenn.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I seek your approval on our list of bills through January 17th, 2023, in the amount of $1,315,091.54.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of the list of bills. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubel.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Informationally, our regular and overtime payroll from December 19th, 2022 through January 1st, 2023 was in the amount of $262,401.65. That's all I have this evening, unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions of treasurer?
Thank you,
Thanks.
good night.
Thanks, Glenn. Unfinished business, we have nothing. Anyone? New business, anybody? Committee liaison reports? Anybody? City council comments, positive city council comments, anything you'd like to share with any of your constituents? We'll begin with Ward 4 this evening, Alderman Kubal.
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Alderman Albert?
And Mayor, too, I wanted to echo what Alderman Verche said and just congratulate Lori on her retirement. She's been a great asset to the city clerk's office, to the city council, to the plan commission, to the Lions Club. Thank you for your friendship.
Alderman Sapiti?
Ray, I'm gonna talk up now.
Okay.
Lori, thank you for your service. I'm sorry, I missed out on that.
Thank you.
Alderman Sapiti?
Thank you, Lori. Congratulations on a wonderful career here. Been quite a ride, and just want to know we appreciate everything you've done over the years, and happy retirement.
Alderperson Oberlin?
Well, Lori, I know you're gonna miss this place terribly. But
I honestly am.
I know you are. I know you are. You don't think you are, but you will.
I will. I really
And
will.
we'll miss you and have a wonderful retirement. Appreciate everything you've given to the city all these years. Thank you. I don't know if we're gonna have a formal thank you, but I'll thank you with everybody else right now. And then I'd like everybody to take a moment to think about what the day honoring Martin Luther King is really all about. Because in our society here in this year, it seems like we've taken some steps back instead of forward. And that's unfortunate. So everybody should really embrace all the work he did and the reasons for what he did and try to apply it to their lives today. Because what the world does indeed need now is love, sweet love. Thank you.
Alderwoman Gazal?
Well, I'm gonna echo with everyone else what it says. Lori, thank you for your service. You were a big asset for the city. You're gonna be missed with your knowledge and your experience. I enjoy, you know that, I enjoy working with you at the Halloween roast, and I know we're still gonna see each other there and have a great time, and thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you so much.
Alderman Jefferson.
Yes, I wanted to say thank you to Lori for her service. And you were one of the first people I met when I moved to this city, because I came to the window and was asking about, did I need a sticker for my car? And you spoke to me, and, you know, and I've enjoyed you ever since. You're a ray of sunshine that's gonna be missed.
Thank you so much.
And again, I want to wish everyone a happy Martin Luther King Day, and remember what the meaning and the values that he tried to bring, and hopefully, you know, we could see that come to fruition in sometime in the future.
Amen.
Alderman Verche.
What can I say? I enjoy it. I enjoyed coming up here, giving you a hard time for all these years, and I know you enjoyed it too. We had a good time, and we are real good friends now anyway because of that. And again, congratulations, and I thank you for the job you've done.
Thank
And
you.
better late than never.
Thank you.
Alderman Dyke.
Lori, what more can be said? You know, really do appreciate all your years of service and dedication to the city and its residents. You have always been excellent, always have done a superior job. Everything you've done, not only for what you get paid, but other things you've spent your own time to do for others around the city. So thank you.
Thank you.
And good luck on your retirement. Hope you enjoy it, and take it easy, travel, whatever you gotta do. Enjoy it, take care.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
So Lori, I usually don't speak at this point in time, but this is the place for it, so I just want to thank you for your commitment, your dedication, your loyalty to the city of Crest Hill. You have probably dealt with well over 100,000 people, I would think, in your time here over all of the years. So thank you for representing the city with class, with professionalism, and for everything that you did to help out all of those people that you've dealt with. I will tell you that retirement is great. You're going to enjoy it, and you're going to look forward to it, and you're always welcome back here.
Thank you so much.
Okay, public comment. If anyone would like to address city council, please step to the podium, state your name for the record. Your address is optional. Stu?
Stuart Soifer, 21526 Graywood Drive. Just a request. For several months now, we've sat here and listened to you all approve hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of change orders for the city center. But unless somebody goes online and actually looks at the packet, can you, when requesting the changes and the dollars and to who, can it be stated in the record what those changes are for and the effect that they're going to have on the project moving forward, please? Thank you.
Thanks, Stu. Anybody else? Okay, to our city attorney, Mike, is there a need for an executive session?
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
We have a motion for an adjournment by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman Verche. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazelle.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubel. Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, meeting is adjourned at 8:04 PM. I thank you and good evening. Hey, Bill Gallagher.